I think as of right now, Shedeur is a clear-cut number one for me. I just think his game translates to the NFL. He's a pure thrower. He moves well enough. Like, he's got the pedigree.
The college football playoff is days away, and as an IU alum, I know I'm excited for this Friday, but I want you to give me your overall take on the college football playoff field in the first year of the 12-team format. And do you think everything fell into the right place?
Yeah, I mean, I think, listen, I am, as a fan, I cover the game, but as a fan, I love the fact that we're at 12 teams. I love the fact that SMU is in, and I love the fact that Boise State and some of these teams that just like it just makes our sport bigger and better. So I love that. I do think after the 12 teams were announced, I do think a potential of reseeding, I think definitely is something, because if you look at Oregon, who finished undefeated number one, they have arguably the toughest path the way the teams fell. So I think there's something to maybe reseed after the conference championship game. Basically, the four conference championships maybe don't deserve a bye, depending on who they are. But at the end of the day, for me, I'm all about more teams, more games. I'll actually be at the game this weekend, the Notre Dame Indiana game. So awesome matchup. I mean, just great matchups all around. I mean, this is so much fun for college football fans.
Right. Something that was very interesting to me is that they're putting these games right up against NFL games on Saturday, and the NFL games are actually good, like Chiefs,
Yes,
Texans,
they are. I saw
Steelers,
that.
Ravens. Yeah, I'm here for it, but give me all the football. But who wins out in this battle, do you think? Is it the NFL or the college football playoff?
Well, leave it up to the NFL to do that, right, for these big games. But listen, I think people are going to watch these college football matchups. I mean, it's the first time that we have a 12-team playoff. We have some fun matchups. So who wins out? I don't know. NFL always has great ratings, but I think college football, I think this weekend is going to be so exciting for the football fan. And again, you can turn back and forth whatever you want to do, but you got the big games on Saturday, the night game, Ohio State, Tennessee, which I think is the most interesting matchup, two equal teams. But NFL's got some good matchups. That's just the way it fell this year, though. You don't know if some of these teams are going to be the record that they have at this point in the season.
I want to talk about the Heisman Award. We just saw Colorado's Travis Hunter take it down this year, which, God bless, that man dominated football.
Yes.
Both sides of the ball, very well deserved. But you just celebrated the 20-year anniversary of winning yours with USC.
Oh, don't remind me. Gosh, makes me feel old.
What's your best memory of that day and that season?
Oh, well, the season, let's see, that was 2004. So that was the year we won the national championship. So it was kind of interesting. I think I solidified the Heisman, so to speak, the Notre Dame game. And I remember a couple years prior, Carson Palmer, who I backed up, he had a big game against Notre Dame. It was on national TV. And that was kind of like the game that, like, okay, that was it. Everybody had a chance to watch in late November. And it really kind of was the same thing for me. I ended up having a really good game at home against Notre Dame that year, and then went on to win the Heisman. I would just say the Heisman, I didn't expect to win. I was really, really nervous that year. I really had no idea what to expect, but it was cool because I won, and then getting ready for Oklahoma in the national championship game. And I remember all of them. I told this story not too long ago, but just all of those guys talking smack, like, oh, this is the Heisman, because Adrian Peterson had finished second that year, and that was their running back. And they just started talking smack to me, like, this is a Heisman Trophy winner, blah, 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 blah. And we put up 55 on Oklahoma, so it was a good game. But that game just stands out, winning the national championship with my team. And then obviously winning the Heisman Trophy. It's just such a special award, and that's such a really unique, incredible fraternity to be a part of.
Right. There's a lot going on across college football, especially in the era of NIL. We're seeing coaches like Mike Norvell and Brian Kelly restructuring their contracts to put more money into fundraising efforts to bring in more kids, which is wild in my opinion. But what's the first thing that crosses your mind when you see articles like this? And do you think we'll even see scenarios soon where college athletes are going to be inclined to stay in school longer and wait to enter the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, I think well, one right now, like with the salary cap and the House settlement, everything coming soon, I think that'll fix some of the issues that we have. But the biggest issue I see currently is the transfer portal, and we've seen it. Right. Like the stories come out this week, which is just bananas, that players are leaving right before a playoff game. Most notably, James Franklin came out this week about his backup quarterback, who's a really good player, plays for them every week. Drew Aller decides to come back, so he wants to leave. Totally get that. But you want to ideally do that after the end of the season. But this kid and these kids are forced to do it right now because the portal is open, and they only have such a small window to try and land somewhere else to get ready for spring and all that kind of stuff. It's just it's chaotic, and it's crazy to think that despite the NIL and despite maybe players leaving for other reasons, like that you're forced during the season to have to make this choice to leave a team. It's beyond me, and that needs to be fixed. And really, we just need to put that window after the season. I mean, it's pretty simple, but so that's stuff to me that just needs to change. I mean, it just needs to change. I do like seeing the fact that coaches are restructuring a little bit. Coaches make a whole lot of money, and some coaches complain about this. Well, now you're seeing some of the coaches act on it, which I think is good, but it's crazy. I mean, gosh, it changes every year, but I do think the portal is something that needs to be fixed.
As we know, all of these first round home teams are actually home teams, and the games are going to be played at their stadium. So you've obviously played at some of these places. In your opinion, which atmosphere do you think is going to be the best?
That's a great one. So I think Penn State, even though it's a noon game, we've had big noon kickoff games there. That environment's crazy. It's 108,000 people for a playoff game is going to be nuts. So that'll be fun. And then Ohio State at night is going to be crazy. Ohio State, the shoe gets rocking. It's going to be cold. I do want to say this. I think Notre Dame, and this is just because I'm not a Notre Dame guy. I don't necessarily think it's a tremendously great home atmosphere, but it is supposed to snow potentially that game, which would be kind of a cool atmosphere to play in. So I would probably rank Penn State 1, Ohio State 2, Texas 3. Texas gets rocking pretty good, and then the Notre Dame would be 4 of those 4 games this weekend.
I like that. That's a good ranking. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think some of the teams that got the first round buys are sort of like low-key pissed they don't get to play a home game on their home field? I know if I was a fan of like Oregon or Georgia, I'd be feeling a little bit of FOMO.
Well, that's kind of like the reason why potentially reseeding wouldn't help that, but reseeding would just allow for other matchups, like for Oregon to get a better matchup playing the winner of a game instead of playing Ohio State or Tennessee, who arguably one of those two teams could win the national championship. So I look at it both ways, because I had this conversation with Mark Ingram actually. It's like, would you rather have a bye or would you rather play at home? I mean, I just would always rather have a bye because you have another extra week to get healthy, and the other teams are playing a week before you, so some stuff can happen there and all that. So I would take the first round bye any day of the week. It is fun, obviously, to host a home playoff game, but give me the bye, give me rest, give me the bye, give me extra practice time, get my team healthy for sure.
Looking ahead to the NFL or the upcoming NFL draft, the quarterback class is clearly front-loaded with Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward. Do you think that they reside in a tier of their own, or are we leaving anyone out?
That's a good question. Yeah, I would say Shedeur and Cam are both elite, but very different type of players. I think as of right now, Shedeur is a clear-cut number 1 for me. I just think his game translates to the NFL. He's a pure thrower. He moves well enough. Like, he's got the pedigree. I think he's for sure one. I would say Cam Ward right now is for sure two. He's a great athlete, and he played a lot of football in college. So those two definitely are up there. And then the next tier, you have, I mean, who knows? I mean, Quinn Ewers might stay in school, obviously. Carson Beck, like they give a lot of guys who are projected high picks before the season, now all of a sudden find themselves in a situation where maybe they stay in school, maybe they get better, maybe they come out, maybe they're second, third, fourth round guys. So those two for sure, the clear-cut top 2 right now. Obviously that can change. You always have guys that go through the draft process that skyrocket. Some scouts or teams will fall in love with somebody. But yeah, it's not a super deep quarterback class this year. It's not like last year, right, where we had 5 guys picked in the first round. Yeah. So, but those two are very special, and I'm excited to see kind of their process.
Hey, Hey, sports fans, if you want to see more conversations with athletes and stars, check out these videos right here and be sure to subscribe for more from USA Today Sports.